So in this video, we're going to set the global height up of our UCT tool in our K position on our JWEI JCUT Cutter. So this is not our settings that we do in OptiScout to add more depth. This is the actual physical height of the UCT tool that it's going to use for everything. So you should only do this if you're having issues with cut depth, or you want to set up a new tool, or you're resetting up the tool in the K position. Now, the very first thing we need to do is make sure we've got a brand new blade in our UCT tool. Even if your blade is quite new, it's always good to make sure you put a new one in there, because then we're going to get the best out of our tool. The next thing we need to do is we need to load our tool into that position. So just going to put that down there like that. So you can drop that down into there, and then I'm just going to turn that into the position like that. Now that the tool's in position, the next thing I need to do is I need to go to my JW cam. Then I need to do my tool depth like normal. So that's going to go over to the left hand side, and it's going to perform its tool depth on the tool depth pad. The next thing I need to do is I need to go into debugging. I'm going to bring my tool head back over to this side. Then I'm going to get myself a small piece of A4 printer paper like that to do my tests on. I'm then going to use my arrow keys in OptiScout to bring the head over the top of my paper, just like that. And that's my actual tool is over the top of my paper there. When I'm happy with that, I'm then going to make sure I've got the knife position chosen up here, which you can see the current value is 4469. And then I'm going to use my tool up and down keys to bring my tool down. So I'm going to click, and you can see the number's going to come down, and also the tool is coming down there as well. I'm going to get it somewhere close to the top of my paper. So it's really nice and close there. Now you'll notice at this point now I don't have my vacuum on, and that's because I actually want to move the paper so I can test the depth. So I'm now going to click on the fine tuning button. That's going to slow down the movement of that head, and I'm going to just keep clicking it until it comes down somewhere close. So it's still just above. You keep coming down. Still above. So now if I pull that paper out, I can see it's still not quite in there. Whereas now, it's cutting really nicely through at the end there. So I've now gone to about, let's go for 4475. So that's my new value. So that's now what I want the UCT to be set at all the time. At the moment, this adjustment that I've just made is just for this one time. As soon as I do my tool depth, it's going to revert back to that old value again. So what I need to do now to ensure that that's right is I need to test it. So I'm going to press OK. That's then going to update my new value onto the left hand side. I'm going to move the head out of the way. I'm going to put my paper back underneath. But this time I'm going to turn my suction on. That's going to turn the suction on in my bed. You'll also see that I've only got this one suction zone on. I'm going to put the head back over the top of my paper, and then this time I'm going to press my knife button. Pressing my knife button has put my K position, my UCT, into its cut position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the arrow keys to drag my blade through my material. Now whenever we do a test like this, we always do the upward position on our belt, just in case we're a little bit too deep. So I'm going to press my arrow key, and I'm going to press knife up again, and I'm going to move that out of the way. And then I'm just going to check it. So you'll see, it's not perfect. So to get that better, I would add then a little bit more in here. I'd then check that again and do that, keep doing that process until it's absolutely perfect. And then when I know it's perfect, that's when I need to do my compensation to ensure that whenever I do my tool depth, this is now the number that it brings up. So to do our compensation, you'll see we've got our tool depth compensation here. I'm going to double click that. I'm going to put my password, which is 6 number 8, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 8. And you'll see then I now have the option to do my tool depth compensation for my knife position. So it's a knife, not knife 1, knife. So at the moment, if I was to press tool depth, we'll see. So it's just about to go over and do that tool depth now. It's going to change my 4480 here back to 4469. So I need to make a change to this number to make it so it doesn't do that. So let's just take the 10 away. Let's have a look. Is that going to go up or down? So that's now 4480, which is perfect. So you can play around with this number as much as you want and do your tool depths, and you'll see that number changing that number. Now this number doesn't really mean anything. All it really is it's 0. So that just signifies where the tip of this blade is touching the correct point of the top of our belt. Now another blade could be 5mm longer or 5mm shorter. What the compensation is going to do is it's going to take that 5mm away or add that 5mm to it in order to get the tip of the new blade to the same position as the tip of this blade. So now we know that that's done, we can press apply, yes, and then okay, and then yes. So that's now saved our tool height, our tool depth. So if I was to do my tool depth again now here, that's going to use that new value for our tool height. So that's our global height done. So now in OptiScout, we can add our 0, 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, and 5 again, but we're now adding it from a new starting position. The only thing you have to be careful of is if you have material database, if you have materials in your database that have plus 0.1234 in there, you need to put those back to 0 to test it with your new height on your UCT. So that's how we change our global tool height on our UCT in our K position on our JWEI JCUT cutter.